As your body grows bigger,
your mind was slower. It's great to learn,
'cause knowledge is power.
It's Schoolhouse Rocky, a chip off the block of your favorite schoolhouse, Schoolhouse Rock.
Yo, what's up? This is your boy, Mr. Black Magic, coming at you for this week's installment of Get Your Knowledge On. This week's topic actually happens to be mine. And I posed to the group the idea or the word fair. And what does this mean, to each of them, or what does it mean to you? Fair is an interesting word. I remember, when I was younger, I'm always talking about when I was younger. When I was younger, and I remember, that old cliche that, I'm sure everybody's parents has said to them at some point in time, and I know my mom said it to me, life isn't fair. And you could just see that in terms of why is it that why was I born in America? Why wasn't I born, some kind of Somali pirate? Why wasn't I born in, I guess Russia or somewhere else? Like somewhere, in different places where, people have not had it as easy or have not had the freedoms that we as Americans enjoy. And I harken back again to the thought that life isn't fair. Now, the reason why I brought this topic up, and like I said in my email to everybody, I did not want to muddy the waters by giving my take on it in the email, kind of steering the direction of the conversation. But my thought process is this. In going with that idea of life not being fair, is it fair to say that, things should be taken away from one group of people and given to another? Is it unfair to say that, this person might have had some kind of advantage over another person given, I guess, their family status, which, may be generational? I just have an issue with how fair is thrown around. For instance, you have individuals, I won't call out any particular one, in our government that will say that it's now time for corporations or a, certain class of people to pay their fair share. Well, my question becomes, who is it that justifies this idea of fairness? And I don't think that it should be up to any kind of, or any person that might have an ulterior motive, be it political or otherwise, to justify what may be fair to one person or is fair to another person. Because that idea of fairness it's not an objective term. It's rather subjective. And, again, what is fair to one person may not be fair to another. But it's thrown out there as to say, like, we're making everything fair. We're going to make it equitable. There are some things that cannot be settled by a law or even settled by man. Again, I harken back to what was said to me as I was younger and growing up. Life is not fair. Sometimes, certain people, you're just basically dealt the cards that you're dealt with, and you have to do the best that you can with those cards that you were dealt. Now, in the same vein of fair, I can easily say that, okay, I'm going to use my own personal family because I don't want to sit there and call other people. Is it fair that my mother moved us out of, a bad environment, moved me out of a bad environment, to try to give me a better opportunity to elevate myself, not giving me any kind of a silver spoon or a handout, but giving me that kind of opportunity, whereas other people in my family, the people that were raising them, did not have that wherewithal or that forward-thinking fortitude to sit there and say, I'm going to move this person out of this area because I want them to have a fair chance. Is that fair? Did I have some kind of unfair advantage over you know, people in my own family, I would say no. I would say again, life is not fair. Um, I just don't know. It just really bothers me, and I'm really trying not to bring this on a government thing, but my thought process behind this whole fair share thing is that when I think of bringing another word, share. To me, what sharing means is that you have a group of people who basically have an even stake or a stake period into the pool in order to get out whatever the benefits may be. You're sharing into, I guess, the pot, the great melting pot. Now, what if you have people, now, I'm sorry, if you want to talk about sharing, to me, my thought process is to make it fair, then everybody should have an equal part, whether you come from loftiness or you come from below. Everybody needs to have some skin in the game, because if you have no skin in the game, then there, and all you think is that you're supposed to be able to just dip your hand into the pot and pull out all kinds of benefits without actually putting into it, how is that fair? Again, fair is that word I think has been used in a very subjective matter, because for some things people might say, oh yeah, that's fair, to make these people, they have all this money and I have nothing, so they should pay more, but then I know, for instance, myself, and I actually have seen this even in certain forums that I've been in, like where people will sit there and talk about how much they pay in taxes or whatever, and this and then the third. And I just marvel at the amount per pay period that comes out of my income from taxes. Is it fair? Is it fair that at the end of the year, and by no means, and I don't want y'all to get this wrong, by no means am I trying to complain and or preach. I'm really trying to keep this on a level of the actual word that we're talking about here. Fair and fairness. I mean, granted, there's an old proverb that says, to whom much is given, much is expected. I agree. But again, in so much that this is given, then it should be up to me to sit here and say, you know what, I've been blessed in this way, and I want to give back to help my fellow man. Not that, oh, it is fair that since you've been given this, it's only fair that we take X amount away from you to give to other people. At some point, again, subjectively, it may be fair in your eyes to do that for somebody, but how is that fair to me? Where do we get to a point where fairness becomes co-equal among people that are actually all having some stake in the game and actually contributing to the great melting pot? So I don't know. I mean, my thoughts would probably be controversial to, a couple people. And that's fine. I'm usually the controversial person anyway that people want to argue with. So, I mean, just bear in mind that if you do want to, you know, engage in this conversation, keep it on the lines of what we're actually talking about here. Fair. Fairness and unfair. I'll entertain any of y'all. Well, I make it a point not to comment on comments that are given to me because I feel like I've given my point of view. But feel free to comment. Feel free to give a video response if you want to. And that's about all I have to say. It's your boy, Mr. Black Magic. Listen to Coltrane today. Blues Train. Holla at your boy.